Hello children, welcome to the online classes. In the previous session I have started biodiversity. What do you mean by diversity? The presence of variations or differences. The presence of variation or difference in any or anything is diversity. It may be in non-living things or living things. If the diversity exists in living things, it is called biodiversity. Bio means life. The differences in living organisms refers to biodiversity. So we can observe number of plants and animals around us. Plants are the primary producers of food, isn't it? But what the human being is doing, the human beings are utilizing these plants and animals excessively. Then what happens if we do like this? If this continues like this, if this continues, what happens is our future generation, they cannot get the natural environment and the natural resources will get exhausted. So what we have to do? We have to protect them. We have to conserve them. Conservation of plants and animals last year you have learned, isn't it? That is the previous topic in 8th class. But how these many variety of plants and animals, how they are studied by the biologists, let us see. Suppose you go to library, there are different books. They should be arranged in different racks. In such a manner, all the living organisms are divided into different categories by different biologists. But finally, the classification, the division made by Whittaker was accepted throughout the world because he took cell as the basic unit of his classification. That is, so according to Whittaker's classification, I told you Monera. What are the 5 kingdom classification of Whittaker? First kingdom is Monera, second one Protista, third one fungi, 4 plantae, 5 animalia. These are the 5 main kingdoms made by Whittaker. Actually, all the living organisms, after dividing them into 5 kingdoms, again they divided and divided. Suppose you are given beads and you are asked to separate them or segregate them. What do? First you will separate them based on their color. Then in that color only, suppose some are round, some are elliptical, some are oval, or some are square, like depending on the shape you will divide. Then again in that shape and color same, but size is different. Then again based on size you will separate. Like that finally all will be separated based on color, based on size, based on shape. Like that you will see first similarities, then differences, similarities, differences. According to in a similar way, the living organisms are also divided into different categories based on their similarities and differences. So in 5 kingdom classification, again first the kingdom. This is the hierarchy of classification. This is called hierarchy. HEIRARCHY. Hierarchy of classification. I am explaining you now. First kingdom. Then in this kingdom, suppose you take animals. So many are there in animals. Some are tigers, some are lions, some are cats, some are dogs, some are human beings, some are fish, some are birds. So many differences are there. So again based on some more similarities, as we segregated the beads means పూసలు. మీకు కొన్ని పూసలు ఇచ్చి వాటిని సెపరేట్ చేయమంటే ఫస్ట్ కలర్ బేస్గా సెపరేట్ చేస్తారు. కలర్ ఒకటే అయినా కానీ ఆ రెడ్ అన్నీ తీసిన తర్వాత ఆ రెడ్లో కూడా మళ్ళీ కొన్ని రౌండ్, కొన్ని ఎలిప్టిక్. దెన్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ద షేప్ మళ్ళీ ఆ రౌండ్, ఎలిప్టిక్ ఆర్ ఓవల్ షేప్ మీరు సెపరేట్ చేసిన తర్వాత సైజ్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంది. అలానే ఇక్కడ కూడా బేస్డ్ ఆన్ దర్ సిమిలారిటీస్ అండ్ డిఫరెన్స్, సమ్ మోర్ సిమిలారిటీస్ దే టుక్ ఇన్ టు కన్సిడరేషన్ అండ్ they put them in phylum. Say for example, animal kingdom. Let us take animal kingdom. In animal kingdom, again based on the presence of vertebral column, bones, they are divided into vertebrates and invertebrates. That category is named as phylum. Next, class. Some more different, some more similarities they have taken and kept those organisms under the category class. And then order. Next, family. Then genus. Finally, species. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus and species. In the kingdom, 5 kingdoms are there. Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, Animalia. And again these 5 kingdoms are divided into different phyla. And again in that phyla, some more similarities they took into consideration. They kept under separate class. They are given separate divisions, class, order. In this, some more similarities. Family, genus, species. If I say example, you can understand. For example, take human being. Human being belongs to the kingdom Animalia. Animalia. And phylum Chordata. Phylum Chordata. We are chordates. We have backbone. Skeletal structure is there. We belong to the class Mammalia. Order primates. And family Hominidae. Family Hominidae. Genus Homo. Species Sapien. So this is our hierarchy. What is hierarchy of human being? Kingdom, and we belong to the kingdom Animalia, and we come under the phylum Chordata. We are included in the class Mammalia, and we are included in the order Primates, and then family Hominidae, genus Homo, species Sapien. This is the hierarchy. Here, Animalia, all animals. Chordata, based on the vertebral column. Mammalia, all 4-legged animals. Man is the most advanced and standing erect on 2 legs. But mammals are generally all the other mammals are 4-legged and they give birth to young ones, they feed their young ones with their milk. That is the similarity in Mammalia. In Mammalia, all are there. Tiger, cat, lion, rabbit, bat, squirrel, all these are mammals. They give birth to young ones and feed their young ones. That is the similarity here. But primates, based on their food habit, they are divided into primates. Order primates. Next, the family Hominidae. Yes. Next, genus Homo. But in the genus Homo, monkey may be there, chimpanzee may be there, chimpanzee, ape, monkey, gorilla, all these are under the genus Homo along with us, human being. But the species, we all belong, all the human beings belong to the species Sapiens. That's the hierarchy of human being. Another example I will show you. Next one, okay, let it be Animalia. This is I am giving for your understanding. Actually, it's not given in the textbook. Let us take our national animal, tiger. Panthera tigris. It belongs to the kingdom Animalia. And Chordata. It too has skeletal structure. And it also gives birth to young ones and feed them, Mammalia. And here the order is, it is a carnivore. Carnivora. Carnivora order. And family, we belong to the family Hominidae, and the tiger belongs to Felidae. Family Felidae. Genus Panthera. Species Tigris. So that is the hierarchy of tiger. Animalia, Chordata, Mammalia, Carnivora, Felidae, Panthera, Tigris. So every organism has all these classes, all these categories. Every organism, we may be under some kingdom, phylum, class, order. For every organism it is there, this hierarchy is there. Even for a cockroach, earthworm, every organism has its own hierarchy. It may belong to some kingdom, some phylum. It is included in one class, order, family, genus and species. Like that, they separated the organisms into different categories. Kingdom, phylum, yes, class, order, family, genus, species. So this is the hierarchy. Next, I told the Whittaker classification. According to Whittaker classification, the 5 kingdoms are Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, Animalia. So the first kingdom is Monera. Under Monerans, Monerans are the unicellular prokaryotes. The major point you have to understand here is Whittaker took cell as his basis for classification. So here the first point is Monerans are all unicellular prokaryotes. Prokaryotes means already you have an idea about prokaryotic cell. In first chapter itself you have learnt what is a prokaryote. A prokaryotic cell has, it may have cell wall or may not have, and it does not have a prominent nucleus. Nuclear membrane is absent. In that place nucleoid is present. DNA is directly present in the cytoplasm. Membrane bound organelles are not present. These are the features of Monerans. Monerans are unicellular prokaryotes. Unicellular prokaryotes. Prokaryotes means without prominent nucleus. Only nucleoid is present. Membrane bound cell organelles are absent. Example, bacteria. What is the example? Bacteria. Again, these bacteria are divided into archaebacteria and eubacteria. Eubacteria. U means true bacteria. Archaebacteria are the primitive bacteria. Primitive bacteria means we can consider them as cyanobacteria or blue-green bacteria, which evolved in the beginning of the life, origin of life, when the life started. When the life originated means when the life started on this earth, these cyanobacteria only came into existence. The first and foremost organisms are the cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria are the primitive bacteria. They are referred as archaebacteria. Primitive organisms means, always keep in your mind, primitive organisms are the organisms which are not well advanced, well developed, but gradually what happens is these primitive organisms, based on their environmental conditions they live in, or based on the food habit, based on their habitat, they adapt themselves to such environment or to such habitat. In this course of adaptation, they made some changes in their body. They themselves make some changes in their body. These changes only are called adaptations. So by going through these adaptations, they evolve into the advanced creature. I said already, the early man has hair all over his body because he used to roam in the forest. His body has to be protected from the external environmental conditions like severe hotness or very cold climate. That is the reason why there was hair all over the body. But now we are living in a protected environment, in a pakka house or maybe a kacha house, whatever a house is there for to live in. We are wearing clothes. The early man did not wear clothes also. He used to cover himself with animal skin and leaves. So all these factors play a role in the advancement of an organism. The surrounding he lives in, based on that he or that organism lives in, the organism makes changes in itself. because of these changes, it completely evolves into a new advanced creature. Now the human being is like this, without hair all over the body, isn't it? Their tail was there for early man. Now tail is not there because early man used to live on the trees. He used to hang like monkeys on the tree branches. But now are we living on the tree? No, we are not living on the tree. We need not have a tail. So we do not have a tail. It became a vestigial organ, waste organ. Like that, nictitating membrane was there for early man. For us, nictitating membrane is not there over the eye, isn't it? That nictitating membrane used to protect the eye of that early man from external dust and surrounding. In the middle of the jungle, he used to live. Surrounding him, so many wild animals were there. So his eye was protected by covering it with nictitating membrane, but that nictitating membrane became very small, and in this corner it is there like a small pink mass will be. You observe that. That is the nictitating membrane. So these are the advances. For that I am saying, arc bacteria are the primitive bacteria, and these eubacteria or true bacteria are the advanced bacteria. These two are the categories in bacteria. Bacteria are good example of monerans. Monerans are the unicellular prokaryotic organisms. They may be autotrophs or heterotrophs. Autotrophs means they prepare food for themselves. For example, cyanobacteria or blue-green bacteria because they have chlorophyll. But these eubacteria, they are heterotrophs. They depend on other organisms for food. Next one is Protista. The next kingdom is, after Monera, the next kingdom is Protista. Protista are also unicellular but eukaryotic. Eukaryotic means, you all know, a prominent nucleus is there, membrane bound organelles are there, isn't it? So, for these Protista, examples are algae, unicellular algae, and Protozoa, unicellular algae, Chlamydomonas, Nostoc, Volvox, Laminaria, all these are algae. They live in water. Wherever water stagnates, ఎక్కడైతే నీరు నిల్వ ఉంటుందో గోతుల్లో చెరువుల్లో మీరు చూడొచ్చు గ్రీన్ కలర్ పాకుడు పట్టేసి ఉంటుంది, అదే ఆల్గే. అండర్స్టూడ్? సో ఆల్గే బిలాంగ్ టు ద కింగ్డమ్ Protista. They can prepare their own food. They are autotrophs. But their protozoa are heterotrophs. Some may be parasites also. For example, entamoeba is a protozoan that lives in the intestine of either animal or a human being. So protozoa, example, amoeba, entamoeba, paramecium, plasmodium, etc. So these are maybe autotrophs or heterotrophs, or some may be parasites also, isn't it? The locomotory appendages. For bacteria, there are no locomotory organs. But here also there are no advanced locomotory organs, but there are locomotory appendages. For example, this Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas, if you observe under electron microscope, it is like this. It has a flagellum for movement. For protozoa, if you see, pseudopodia are the locomotory organs of amoeba. Pseudopodia, last year in 7th or 8th class you have learnt. So, in amoeba, pseudopodia. And paramecium is covered by cilia. All over the body, small hair-like structures are present. They are called cilia. They are the locomotory organs, locomotory appendages. Euglena, if you see, Euglena has a flagellum. Locomotory appendages may be flagella or cilia or pseudopodia. That is about Protista. Protista are unicellular eukaryotes. Eukaryotes means prominent nucleus is there. The nucleus is covered by nuclear membrane. Membrane bound cell organelles are there. For example, ribosomes, mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes, all these are present in these protistans. Example, algae and protozoa. In algae, again, Chlamydomonas, Laminaria, Volvox, Nostoc, etc. And algae have green color pigment, chlorophyll, so they can prepare their own food and also provide food for other organisms in the water. And protozoans, they may be parasitic. They may live solitary or colonial. They may live individually or they may live in colonies. For example, amoeba, entamoeba, paramecium, plasmodium, etc. Next, tomorrow in the next session, I will explain you fungi and plantae. Have a nice day, children.